Gotta frame it. Address some of the questions gotten about the Falcon. Now we're gonna give you guys a little bit of a walkthrough. I will tell you it's a little dirty. I didn't do like an uber deep cleaner. We just got off the lake and it was kind of a sloppy fishing day. So you will see some stuff on it's dirty. But I've been using it for probably 3-4 months now. Well, since February, I guess. So yeah, 4 months, 5 months. And I figured I'd walk through and tell you guys what I've found so far. So go take a look. Okay, so let's talk about probably my favorite part of the boat. I'm gonna end up saying that a lot, I think, but is the front deck. It's massive. I don't find myself, you know, clogged up or have any issues with like running out of room or anything like that. I got 5-6 rods on this side and 5 rods on that side, and I've put even more than that before, and it's just, you have plenty of room. I also have guys fish with me up front, never an issue. That is the advantage, or one of the advantages of going with a 21-foot boat. You get a little bit extra room, but also just in general, these boats have really big front decks. In fact, that's actually like one of their hashtags is we have big decks. So let's talk about the units up front. Let's go real quick. I did not have 360 on the Ultrex last time you guys saw it. That is an absolute must. If you do follow anything I do, you see me using 360 all the time on bodies of water like Mille Lacs, anytime I'm chasing smallmouth. People will go back and forth all day long about like 360 versus Panoptics, Live Scope, all this other stuff. I've used them all. I've used every one of them. I've even used the new Garmin Panoptics thing, whatever. Those all have areas where they excel. But for what I like to do and the style I like to fish and the bowlers I like to go and the piece of structure I like to try and find smallmouth on, there's nothing that proves more valuable than this because it allows me to literally cast where I want to be on that rock or that rock vein or that piece of structure all the time. Am I going to tell you that I locate schools of smallmouth with this thing? No, that's not what I use it for. I've seen them before. And I've cast and I've caught a fish that way before, but I don't go out and like seek out looking for schools of active fish that way. This is specifically for finding structure for me. This is the new Mega. It's insanely clear. Again, I don't know if I could really smallmouth fish without this thing, especially on bodies of water where there's a bunch of rock. So Ultrex, self-explanatory. I'm not really gonna go into that. If you can kind of see over here, the biggest thing, see I got all kinds of vegetation in here. The biggest thing I did was just add another Helix 12. Again, this is pretty much specifically for running 360. Up front is on the top of 360. This will be like my 2D, which I run the built-in DI and the built-in 2D off the Ultrex. It's built in at the bottom there, so I can play video games with the fish underneath me. But then the top screen, again, 360, I'm looking forward. The next one will be like my graph if I want to put either 2D or DI, or if I want to mark waypoints or have my chart there, whatever. So having 2 screens is nice instead of having to split up a 12-inch screen. Now that might sound like spoiled to you, but anytime you're spending a lot of time in the water, and 360 is it's a pretty big map. It's kind of like side imaging. There's a lot of stuff here, a lot of information there. If you're trying to split that screen up with a 12-inch screen, split that up twice into like a 6-inch piece of each, everything starts to get really small. And so again, having an extra unit up there to have the whole thing be just 360 up front is clutch. Let's move back to the talons. Right away, it's interesting. Last year, on my last year's boat, I actually had 12-foot talons too. By the time this video is out, you guys will have seen the Raptors. That is Minn Kota's new shallow water anchor. It's a hydraulic pump system. A lot of you will recognize it, similar to what a power pull is. And what it's going to do is going to open up the doors for the people that want to run Minn Kota products, not just the trolling motors, but the shallow water anchors, but also work with the graphs. But they want the hydraulic style. They want that style of shallow water anchor. It's going to fill that gap. So there really isn't a whole lot of reasons to go anywhere else, just because everything fits well together, everything works well together, all my units talk to each other. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've gone to the lake, back my boat in, I have an extra little fob on my dash of my truck, I untie the tongue, back the boat in, it drifts off the trailer, I hit the remote from there, it comes down, my boat's anchored, it's phenomenal. A lot of guys actually asked me if I'm gonna go to the Raptors next year, and unless something changes when I get in the boat with one, because I've only ever seen pictures of them, I've actually never been in the boat with one, I'll probably still rock talons, to be honest with you. In fact, next year I'm looking at getting the 15s, because being able to stop in 10, 11, 12 foot of water, which these 12 footers will let you do, is awesome. But I was literally, one of the first trips of the year was with a buddy on a lake fishing crappies, and we're in like 13, 14 foot of water, and he's got 15 footers, and he's sitting there, and I'm sitting there having to flip around in the current and use the spot lock and stuff, and it was kind of spooking the fish, and I was like, I'm getting 15s next year. And I'm not a tournament guy. I don't care about the weight. I don't care about, oh, they're big, and like there's a lot of extra, like, you know, the weight there, it adds another 30 pounds. Like, I don't need to go 72 miles an hour. I'm perfectly okay cruising at 50, 55 all day long, because I got nowhere to be fast. So again, I know that's my situation. That isn't everyone's situation, but I love my talons. And two of them is kind of a necessity, just because, again, if you have one, you're always, you know, pivoting back and forth. Next thing we're going to talk about is kind of a touchy subject. Mr. Rude. She's kind of rude. No, actually, I won't lie to you. I know for a fact, because I've filmed the guys on tour, that Evinrude is the most problematic motor on tour. I've had zero issues. Zero. I have no affiliation with Evinrude, and no one has an affiliation with Evinrude anymore because, unfortunately, they closed their doors. Which, I mean, whatever you want to say, it's, regardless if it's for the right reasons, it's sad to see a company like that go. They've been around for literally since eternity. My dad had old Evinrudes, and like, I mean, it's one of those brands that's been around forever. So you hate to see it go, but they are no longer making motors. So this motor is now unique. Guys, I really haven't had any issue. The only downside to it is I have to add oil because it's a two-stroke, but it's been phenomenal. It's ran every time. The performance is unreal. In fact, I think to this day, this still outperforms most of the new four-strokes, even the Pro XS and the other ones in the VMAX, like in terms of like takeoff, thrust, all that fun stuff. So it's been a phenomenal, phenomenal motor for me. I only got 50 hours on it. I don't plan on putting another 50 hours on it before I give this boat back. So again, I've had zero issues with it. So say what you want about them, but for me, until it causes me issues, I really can't complain. So let's go back to right here in the back deck. This back deck is actually like, it's way bigger than I need it to be, right? And right now, because we have SJ at home, my wife isn't doing a lot of fishing with me, so I don't really have a need to have a giant back deck this way, but it has served a purpose for, you know, camera gear and putting stuff back there. And again, when I have Logan or buddies fish with me or something, it's one of those things that like, it's nice to have a little bit of room. But one thing that I just kind of not figured out, but like messed around with, that kind of gave me a little bit of a thankful to have that deck, is installing these batteries. These are brand new Battleborns. I have never really had any experience with lithium batteries, and we're going on a 2-day bender fishing right now actually, and I've had full days on Mille Lacs where you're using the thing constantly, and I go to plug it in and it says it's like between 75 to 100% charged after a full day of fishing. Now, I don't think that necessarily means you're gonna get 4 days of fishing based on that math. I think it depends on what kind of fishing you're doing. But so far, these have been phenomenal. And this trip, we just had half it in the water. We're gonna go in the water again, and then we have a full day tomorrow. We're not plugging in once. So it's gonna be all just these batteries off of one charge and on the Ultrex, and we'll see how much it actually drained. But I lost, I think 90 pounds. I think these are 30 pounds lighter than my lead acids per battery. And so I lost 90 pounds out of the back of the boat. I actually noticed it on takeoff when I'm by myself. It's noticeable, it's quicker. Not a ton, and again, not that I should really care, but I do think it's worth pointing out that it's noticeable. But again, when I install them, it made me remember how much freaking room is back here. And I've showed you that in the last video, so I don't need to go into that again, but for someone who wants to install pumps, accessories, extra batteries, any kind, there's just so much room in the back of these boats, and they're really easy to access. I've seen a lot of other boats, including 21-foot boats of other manufacturers, that don't have near the space back here. And again, when you're working back here, you're thankful for it. When you're not working back there, it doesn't really matter, but when you start working back here, you start doing things, you replace a pump, you add batteries, you're thankful for it. So I don't need to go on like things like the live well guys or like the back storage. I have stuff in it. These back bins, I don't have a lot of like containers or plastics or anything like that. They're more like extra life jackets, things I'm not really using day to day, like extra rain gear, stuff like that. I don't really go in them all that much. They're not like my constant deal. You guys will notice it got wrapped. So this baby is going to be prime and ready for a new owner here in probably about 2 to 3 months. It's going to be spotless. This boat was like literally brand new when I picked it up, and I got a wrap on it right away. And so for the next person who this is going to become their rig, it's going to be perfect. It's going to be mint. It is gray. You can see the inside. It's gray. It's got a red pinstripe around it, but I'll be taking the wrap off here pretty soon. Let's quick look at admire my the intern's rods sitting here. I didn't know you could put that many rods in the co-angler spot, but I guess he did. So America, for the guys that are looking to see what kind of rigs they have for the co-anglers. The guys at Falcon did put a JBL speaker system in here, and like I didn't really think much of it when I picked it up, and then I started using it. I'm like, yeah, that's happening like every single boat. Let's quick talk about the inside. I'm gonna hop in real quick here if I can do that semi-athletically. Let's talk about the inside real quick. This is, I would consider kind of your day box. I usually actually use this for the most part for putting like extra spools or things that I'm not, like I don't use this for tackle. They're like extra things that I don't have in there, or like either keys or phones, but it's the perfect size to put a bulk spool of fluorocarbon in there, or braid, whatever it is, and wind up your reels. It like sits in there perfectly. So I actually use it for that quite a lot. Again, I don't have trays in here. I'll put extra rod wraps, or there's a bunch of reel wraps in here right now. It stayed dry. Last night it downpoured, like downpoured. And I didn't have this thing covered because we didn't bring the cover because it wasn't supposed to rain on us. And all of my bins stayed dry. I had an inflatable life jacket in there. I had extra trays in there. I had a drone sitting in the bottom of here. Everything was dry. There literally is not a lick of water on the inside of these lids. Again, I wasn't traveling at 70 miles an hour. Actually, we were driving on the highway. So yeah, this thing has been very, very waterproof so far. This center console, guys, like I said, I don't want to go over everything. Mainly I want to talk about these rod lockers and the front deck a little bit more. Electronics in the console, I haven't changed. It's just a single Helix 12. I could have put 2 up there, but honestly, I didn't think I really needed to drill new holes and run a new cable down, all that fun stuff, just to have a second graph. Most of the scanning I do, I go full screen side scan, and then mark my boulders and do whatever I need to do. And then if I really need to put the graph up too, I'll just hit up my quick buttons and I'm there. So like, I don't really need the 2 graphs. I'm sure if I do this for a living, or if you're a guy that spends more time in the water than you do, or than I do, then you do need that. But for me, I didn't. I will say this about the Z-Star hydraulic jack plate. I've never owned a hydraulic jack plate, and I didn't even know this company made them. And it was the first time I've seen it, but it's been like perfect. And I'm sure an Atlas or anything else would have been just as good. But I've had 0 issues with it, and I've very much so enjoyed having a jack plate, which again, I've never had one before. So going to the rod lockers and how I have things stored. This is an absolute mess in here, so I'm not going to show you too much, but this is where I keep all my plastics and my line, extra things like that. Yeah, it's like I told you it was a mess. That goes all the way forward, almost that foot pedal, so it goes a long ways. That's where I keep my plastics. This right here is where I keep my hard bins on my trays and stuff, and this has worked really well. Again, everything stayed dried even when it was pouring out. There's a lot more room in here. I could fit more stuff in there. I just don't have that much tackle. And it's a 21-foot boat, so really got figured out like how much do I really need for a guy that's not traveling across the country. The last thing I'll talk about, actually 2 more things to talk about, but one of the things I want to talk about is the rod lockers. And a lot of people were like, dude, how do you like them rod lockers that go up? Like, don't your rods like fall out and stuff? And I don't really, I mean, Ranger had the ones that went sideways. Dude, I don't know how I could have another boat that doesn't open like this. You just saw how easy it was. All those rods, just you pull them together and they go up. They won't fall down that way unless they're on the edge, or like you push them that way or something. Maybe if the boat was rocking a lot and you're in the water or something, I don't know. But the rod lockers are huge. I keep all my combos and stuff are in here, spinning and casting. I keep just extra rods and reels, and this one's separated. So I have all my backup rods in case something breaks, or in case I want to rig up something new, or whatnot. But I have all my combos in here, and between that and what sits in the front deck, everything's been perfect. And again, I've had 0 issues with them opening up this way. Now, I know because it's YouTube and because people are just smart and willing to start an argument that way, that someone's gonna call me out on the sidewalls here. They're gonna say, all right, you said you love that and it looks great and cool, but I seen a video on Instagram where you were flying on the lake and rods flew out of the deck. 1, I didn't have them strapped down, and 2, that's the first time it's happened to me on any boat. And honestly, I don't care if I lost that rod or all the rods that I grabbed, whatever, like, I will still take these low sidewalls. I see Buddy's boats, other brands, Phoenix, Rangers, all kinds of other boats that have higher walls. I don't like the way they look. And honestly, like, I feel like I'm right next to the water, and I don't know if I'd want to go back and have a really high sidewall. I absolutely love it. One of my favorite boats of all time, before I even was introduced to Falcon, was a Legend V20, and that had like the smallest sidewall as possible, and it was amazing. I loved it. I love the way it looked, I love the way it sat, and everything was just prime. So the last thing I'll probably talk about is the ride. I can't say I've been in, like, tested every single boat, every single which way, but I've been in quite a few just from camera boats and following these guys, from bass cats to skeeters and all kinds of stuff. It's a bass boat. You're gonna get moved around regardless. And people say that one boat is a way better ride than the other is, I think, kind of phony. I was surprised at the genre I thought this boat was going to be in, the performance, the high-end speed, that it was going to be a rough ride. And I had guys with Falcon telling me that, oh, dude, it was better than this boat I was with. It was better than this boat I was with. Like, they ride phenomenal. But I was like, well, how can you have best of both worlds that way? Again, not that I have a ton to compare to. It's been awesome. I have yet to be in a situation where I was like, I cannot go through there because it's too rough and like I'm worried about like just banging stuff up. With my Aluminum Ranger, that was like a daily ordeal. 5-mile-an-hour wind, I was on the other side of Mille Lacs, screwed. Like this boat, I literally invested the time and stuff into getting this rig because I wanted to fish Mille Lacs more and I wanted to handle rough water, and that's exactly what it's done. So. Other than that, guys, I really do think that these boats are going to start becoming more and more popular. They're really just, they're simple. They're nothing too crazy. They're well executed. The quality is there. And I think the more and more people use them, enjoy them, and like myself, get a hold of them and actually tell people about them, they're going to become more popular. And they're affordable too. So yeah, again, that's a basic walkthrough, guys. I know not a whole lot's changed, but I want to update the electronics where I have everything situated and rods and all that fun stuff. If you have any questions about this boat that I didn't address, comment below. And on top of that, if you're interested in purchasing this boat, shoot me a DM, shoot me a message, do whatever you need to do, comment below, give me your phone number, I'll shoot you information. It'll become available to sell probably in the next couple weeks, and it'll be available for pickup by November. So let me know, and yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it.